Alright, hi. I followed the NSUNS program for about 4 or 5 weeks. It's not very long, but it is kind of an intensive program. So, you know, your joints might fall off if you run it for, say, 3 months plus. Although it kind of depends on how you choose to auto-regulate and deload, but anyways, I absolutely love the progression scheme of NSUNS done off the rep maxes, but it's kind of later rep maxes, so it doesn't spoil your volume for the day. Like, you get a bit of quality volume in first. I have a tendency, I love training with rep maxes, but sometimes I can get a little bit too wrapped up in them, and maybe it affects my overall volume accumulation, and occasionally there can be degradation in the technique. I was after the first lockdown in my country, so I'd not been in the gym for 4 or 5 months. There was a few awkward moments, funnily enough, because of the structure of NSUNS, the 5-day NSUNS. I had to. I was in my kind of chain gym. I was using the barbell for, like, you know, it could be like 13 sets. So whenever people would ask me, like, how many sets you got left, bro, I would be like, oh yeah, like 5, mate. Because I was too embarrassed to tell them how many. I felt like a bit of an equipment hogger. But you know, they should buy more barbells, because it's a really, like, it's amazing to see how the fitness space has changed. When I first got into the gym ages ago, everyone was just using the cables and the machines, but now, you know, squat, benching, deadlifting, just general kind of free weight compound movements, they're the big thing now, which is, I like to say it's nice to see, but it's a bit of a kick in the balls, because I've got to share a bit more. But NSUNS, my squat progress on it, remember, this is after months and months of not squatting, and I also had an injury from my second Muay Thai fight. So my quad, I've been kind of building up and rehabbing it for a few months, with lots of single leg, lots of terminal knee extensions, lots of isometrics. But the squat progress was really good. I didn't hit an all-time PR on the program. I reckon I would have, but then another lockdown came in, so I didn't have a chance. It is a bit monotonous, the program. Like, I do quite like a high degree of variation in my program, but one of the things that I felt it helped me with was it forced me to try variations for my secondary lifts that I wouldn't usually use. Like, I wouldn't usually do a sumo deadlift to build my conventional. Well, I say usually, I would never do that. I'm not big on front squats either. I'm more of a hip dominant lifter, more of a hinge guy, but I found the percentages that I was meant to hit and the reps I was meant to hit on the squats, I couldn't achieve anywhere near it. I was probably about, on the front squat was probably about 20 to 30% lower, but that's kind of good as a diagnostic tool, because it shows this is something I need to work on more. I'd say the program, at the time, I wasn't doing any martial arts, I wasn't really doing any rugby. I think it's an intense, high volume program. It's not very compatible for team sport or multi-sport athletes, martial artists. It's something you're going to struggle to run with your other programs. My bench on it didn't really yield great bench results. Like, there were little kind of marginal PRs, like whacking 2.5 kilos on here and there, but you know, wasn't amazing. The deadlift was going up steadily, but not as impressively as the squat. But to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of it for the deadlift, because I feel like, because the deadlift is so fatiguing itself, for my secondary hinging movement, I want something with a much better stimulus to fatigue ratio, like the back extension, maybe single leg back extension. I love this. I've fallen in love with the straight leg seated good morning. I got it off Knees Over Toes guy, and I messaged under the video. I was like, is it okay to do it with a straight leg? I just kind of like the stretching hamstrings, and I like how the range of motion is somewhat limited a little bit to my flexibility of the hamstrings. He said yes. I'm happy. I love Knees Over Toes. Happy he responded. Overall, I'll definitely be running NSUNS again, and I'd like to run it for a longer period of time. It's a great program. I love the progression scheme. I've run 531, and when I was kind of learning about weightlifting, I always, like, one of my roots of where I kind of developed my sort of methodology from is Wendler's old articles on C Nation long time ago. When I was doing my personal training course, I used to read Wendler's articles, and I like percentage-based programming. I hate RPE. I just like percent. I feel like it works really well for me. Although women a lot of the time can hit more reps at a higher percentage of their RPE, so maybe a percentage program might not be as helpful for female trainees. But yeah, there you go. Please leave a comment if there's any programs you want me to try, products. Yeah, so that's all. Thank you.